Welcome, Barbie. Welcome to Site Speak.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love how calm you are.
Thank you. I try.
I need to try to get some of that. I'm a little nervous this morning, but we're good.
You've done this a lot.
I have.
You could do it.
Yeah, thank you. I love that you're pepping me up. Not the other way around.
I'll try. See, this is part of the job too. I keep people calm.
See?
In hard circumstances.
Those are the PM skills coming into play.
I know.
Awesome. So let's get right into it then. I know that you went to school for construction management, right?
I did. I went to FIU.
Okay.
I actually, a funny story. I was working in an accounting department in a construction company, and then I randomly just I wanted to learn more. So then my boss threw me in a job site. So then I'm like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll teach you everything. I went there. He's like, I don't have time to teach you. So then I decided to go back to school, and I went for construction management. I'm like, I'm going to learn the right way.
That's incredible.
So I went through the whole thing while I was full-time working, and just went to school.
Wait, so how did you originally land in the accounting job?
So originally, I got my associates in business.
Okay.
So after I got my associates, I'm like, this is not what I really want to do. So then
You didn't find it fulfilling?
No. So then I just started looking for a job while I figured life.
Yeah.
Right. So then I guess I landed in the right path. And then when he threw me in that job site, I kind of saw everything, like all the coordination and everything that was happening, and the plans and everybody talking, and I'm like, it kind of feels like good here. It's like homey.
You were like, the vibes are right.
I felt like that was where I belonged.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I just went and tried to do the best that I could to polish that.
Yeah. And so how was school for construction management?
It was actually really good. It was, I thought it was going to be more challenging due to the fact that obviously it's a man's world.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think we might have been like 3 women or 4 max at the program. And by the time I graduated, because obviously it took me a while because I was working full time. So it wasn't like I was a full-time student. By the time I graduated, it was already like 10 to 15 girls, kind of, it was another dynamic. Yeah. So it was good to see how many women actually went and tried to get into the man's world.
Yeah, it's an extremely male dominated field, which is why I love having female guests on this show. And I also always love talking about it. Did you already feel that shift even before you got into the industry at school itself?
Yes, I did. It was you could totally tell the vibe, right? And how women were coming in and changing the dynamic.
In which way?
It was a different vision. It became a little bit more of accepting that women can do as much as men, and we are as smart or smarter than them.
Smarter, some say. Many say. The smart ones say.
Yes.
I don't know.
Just say.
Yeah. And so did you feel like a lot of hostility towards that with your classmates, or was it from professors, or both?
No, I think at college level, it was good. They did see that, that as every teacher should, right? They give you the opportunity as long as you're good. I think it's that the reality hit more in the field, because obviously you'll never be good enough. You'll never have that. It's like, oh, you're a woman, you don't know. And it's like, no, give me a chance,
Yeah. This is like very important. So how long ago was this when you graduated with construction management? No, just because I want to talk about like the difference that you've seen evolve over the years,
So I graduated construction management, I think it was 2013.
Okay. And then your first job out of there was?
Well, I was already working there.
Oh, that's right. Hello.
So I was already working sort of in the industry. Then I got the opportunity to working from one of the major big companies.
Amazing.
So that was right after college. So that was around 2013.
And you joined as what?
So funny story, because I was given the opportunity to work in operations there. I was going to be like, I don't know, an assistant or something. And when I got there, something happened with that job. So they told me, well, in the meantime, can you just do some estimating, which was the class that I hated the most. Sorry. But I just didn't see myself being an estimating. I was more like operations and kind of like in the dynamics of it.
And just quick for somebody who doesn't know exactly what estimating entails.
So estimators, I love them to death. We can't do this without them. But all you do is literally sit in a computer and all you run is numbers and take lengths and stuff and convert it into, how many square footage do you need of concrete in order to pour something.
That honestly sounds like my nightmare job.
Yes. So you just sit and click all day.
And you were like, nah, I'm out of it. I'm not doing this.
I can't. You barely, you could sit at a desk for 3 days straight doing an estimate, right? And then not even talking to anybody to prepare for a presentation that you're going to give with the other estimators to put the bid together in order to submit.
You have to really love numbers to enjoy doing that for a living.
And working in an asylum.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of...
No, I wouldn't like that either.
I like talking. I like to talk a lot. I like to coordinate a lot. I like to make things happen.
Yeah. And so how did you transition out of the estimating role?
So after I couldn't find another opportunity at that company, I just decided to make some calls and I got the opportunity to go work at Fisher Island.
Oh, cool.
So that was exciting. The first month of, going in the little ferry.
Yeah.
After a month, it's like, oh my God.
You're like, I'm tired of this.
I don't want to be in the ferry anymore. But it was a good job. It was a very good team. It was a very good opportunity also. Because,
what did you do there?
So I was a project engineer at that time. And I was just dealing with submittals and trying to get all the paperwork in for the project. One of the project that I worked on, it was one of the last 2 condos that they did at the island. So that was a good opportunity. It was really nice, and it was high end. So you get to see all these selections of really high end products for most of the people there are either Europeans, Russians, and it's kind of like a different dynamic. So they had a lot of materials that came from Europe or very, there was one that had, one of the apartments wanted a coat, what do you call that? It had to be temperatured, a certain temperature and stuff.
Okay.
It was
Fancy.
It was very fancy. So you got the opportunity to see all these things come alive, and it was a good experience. I really liked it and enjoyed it.
Is that kind of one of your favorite parts of the job? Because obviously my husband, they work together. That he loves seeing the projects come to fruition, and that's honestly his favorite part. Do you get that same thrill out of it?
I actually do, and I always say, to me, my projects are like my little art gallery, right? I go around town and I'm like, oh, I did that. Oh, I did that.
Oh, I love that.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
And it'll always be there.
Yes.
Yeah. I love seeing it like a little art gallery. I've never heard someone describe it like that. And when you first started as a project engineer, did you find that what you learned in construction management was actually helpful for that role?
Yes, totally.
Because I know when I went to law school, the joke is you don't really learn anything in law school, right? You only learn it once you're actually on the job. So I'm curious that you actually did feel like it helped you.
I mean, because you learn the basics, so you kind of know what kind of you have to do. Now, when you're in the field, it's a different vibe just because you actually have to do it and you have to do it right. And it's not about a grade, it's about your pay.
Right.
And, it's kind of if not, you're going to get yelled at because it's construction. No, there's no crying in construction.
Right. Ooh, I don't do well with people yelling at me.
It's changed, by the way.
It has? Okay,
Yes.
So when you first kind of got into the industry, going back into joining as a woman, how was that? Especially when you started out as a project engineer and then transitioned into being a PM.
I mean, I think I got really good opportunities for the most part, and I got really good mentors throughout my career. And it was important to them for you to succeed as a woman, but you always get that person that doesn't believe, right? Because it's not you're not a man.
Right, exactly. So how could you be good at this job?
But women, believe it or not, are more detail oriented. So we became more into the weaves of being organized in the document sections and putting together stuff and putting together materials, and how we are how we look at things differently than the men.
And using that to your advantage instead. And so with all the naysayers, what's kind of the process that you use in dealing with them, just continuing and doing the best work possible?
You just smile.
Just nothing better than that, right?
Nope, you just smile.
And I'm sure it drives them crazy.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, you have to, it's like, I have a friend that tells me all the time, it's like playing chess, right? So kill them with kindness. And it's like, you always have to find a way of, okay, like I had this superintendent that he was like very stubborn. We did a Citizen M hotel, which it's like the rooms are like super tiny.
Okay.
So they're the way that the rooms are built. If you miss something in that as you're building it, your room won't fit. Like your furniture won't fit, and everything has to fit in there. So the superintendent was doing it wrong, and I called him out on it, and I said, it's not going to fit. And then he's like, you don't know. And I said, oh, okay.
That's my evil eye.
Thanks. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back to my desk. You know where it is, right? When you want to figure this out together, I'll let you know where you're doing it wrong.
That is incredible. What a baller move.
So,
and what ended up happening?
He went to my desk and he told me that I was right to please come help him.
Oh, how good did that feel?
Awesome.
Oh my God.
Till this day.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And we're still friends.
Oh, you see? That's the best. I think you taught him a valuable lesson that day, honestly.
I think after that, he actually learned that, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And when somebody tells you something, listen to them. Because, I mean, it gives you the opportunity to hear, listen, and understand that there is another perspective. And it might be better. Because the fact that you're doing something for 50 years doesn't mean that you did it right those 50 years.
That's always the hardest when someone's done it forever. They just think they're right and anything else to the opposite is wrong.
Yep.
And those are kind of the hardest personalities to work with.
Yes, it is.
And what you said is something that really resonated with me is that no one gets anywhere alone, right? You were talking about your mentors before. How important has that been for you in your career?
It's actually, I've learned, and I love, that's one of the things that I do love mostly about construction is that it's all about the team. It's not one person that wins because that person needs somebody else to come along and help. So you learn, it's like a family. It's like having siblings and cousins and aunts and uncles that, kind of like you have to learn to live together throughout the tenure of that project. And, it's kind of like how that team works together is how the project is going to succeed. You're not going to succeed by yourself.
You're right. And do you also find it important to kind of pay that mentorship forward?
Yes, I do. I try my best to always try to explain to like my upcoming team, right? Or a new team, even if it's the same rank or even above. So you try to explain to them, kind of like how things work and how it's all about how you feel and how you work together. So you try to put your expectations to the same level. So you tell people this is my expectation and let's work together in dealing with this. And how are you struggling? Let's have a conversation.
Communication is key.
Yes.
And obviously it is a family and you get to work with each other, but I'm sure there's also difficulties in kind of blending a bunch of different personalities together, right?
Especially they're all type A personalities.
And strong personalities too in the construction industry.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's probably a big part of your job, right?
It is. It takes a lot because you got to stroke a lot of egos. Oh. You got to take care of a lot of people and how they're dynamic to each other. And you also have to respect them, right? Because again, people come from different places. People come from different companies. People come from different, they learn things in a different way. They were raised differently. So it's like a marriage. Like you don't live with the family of your husband now, and he comes from another totally different culture, society, anything. And then you're having these two people at a certain age, get together in a room and try to work something out to come up with a building or any structure.
And what do you think is the biggest part about creating kind of a healthy, positive team that supports one another aside from communication and respect, which are kind of like the obvious things, what do you think is really important in kind of building that foundation?
I think trust. There has to be a lot of trust. That's why a lot of these big companies or you go a lot to happy hours and team building events, because that's what you want, right? You want to know what's behind that person, because it's not always it's not always the Barbie, I don't know, the Barbie construction, right? Barbie's a mom too.
Right.
Barbie could have had a bad night last night, and maybe today she's just off her game.
Right.
So you have to pick up that pace too, because, you know, kind of like with the next person, maybe that person's going through a rough time at home or something. So it's kind of the dynamic of picking up people and that trust that you could tell somebody else, hey, I'm going through this. Can you help me out? Because today I just can't. And, you know, it also comes with all the mental health and all the support that you have, like as a friend, as a best friend, as a human being.
So it sounds like empathy also plays a big role.
Yes.
And I wonder how much of this is specific to you versus you actually seeing this in the industry, because I'm not sure I would consider empathy one of the strongest suits of the construction industry.
Actually, you would be amazed.
Really?
Yes. If you get a really good team, I've been in teams that it's just overwhelming. Like they're my ride or die. I would have them again.
That's awesome.
If I could build a team like that of the dream team, I have a couple of people that I would put in there, because those are the people that you trust. Those are the people that you know that no matter what, that you're not
They'll
there
go to
that
war with
day,
you.
everything is going to be smoothly by the next day.
And it's also inevitable that there's going to be people that you clash with, right? And then no matter as many good feet that you've put forward, it's just not going to work, right? Maybe it's the superintendent that never came around. What's your kind of advice to dealing with that situation, which I feel like is inevitable in every facet of life?
So that's a hard one, because to tell you like a good secret, I don't know. I guess you just have to keep on trying and looking for a way of communicating. Another way that usually works is, okay, I don't seem to be clicking, so I kind of use somebody else to kind of go around and having that conversation, because that guy always likes somebody. Maybe he doesn't like me personally, but hey, he has to like somebody in the team. So you kind of work your way around it.
Yeah.
But you still have to deal with that person and all those personalities. It's a lot. Like there's a lot of all these personalities and egos and years of experience that everybody comes in, right? Because it's like, oh, I've done this for 50 years. I don't know how many buildings I've done, and I've done airports, and I've done.
So I know better than you,
yes.
duh.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, but hear me out.
Right.
Maybe I have another idea.
Or plus,
I was in a
evolution is
meeting.
key.
Correct. I was in a meeting that you weren't. So I know something that you don't.
Right.
So give me a chance.
Right.
And it takes a lot, but at the end of the day, at the end of the project, you know, you kind of like, after all the hard work and all the tears and all the yelling, you kind of still are bonded by that person, even the ones you don't like.
Yeah. Because you've been through war together at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. Not to call it trauma bonding, but bonding.
But bonding.
But bonding. My God, you see, happens to me once an episode. I already told you that it was going to happen to me. Let me get to my cards. So now backtracking a little bit, when you were a project engineer, how did you transition that from being a project engineer into project management?
So I went from a project engineer to an assistant project manager. Then I did assistant project management for a while. Well, let's clarify. So I think project engineer is actually like the first step into the management.
Oh, okay. So, because I hear engineer and I think, you know, so what is a project engineer? Maybe
so
I should
a project
ask you
engineer is kind of like what you would say, you're getting your feet wet.
Okay.
Into the whole chaos.
Just baby management.
Just baby management.
Okay.
So it's basically you're learning the whole game.
And obviously the job is in the title, project management, right? Or dipping your feet into it when you're an engineer. But what does the day-to-day involve? What is project management in terms of development?
So project management is basically you manage the construction documentation mostly of the project. So you make sure that everything from the drawings is actually in the building. You manage the permitting site. You could start by from the early stages of, if it's a design build, for example, that, there's no drawings. There's just an owner comes in and says, I want to do a building. So they kind of hire a general contractor for them to, okay, hey, general contractor, hi, I want a building. I have all this money and I don't know what to do with it. So kind of you play along. You're like the orchestra of the design team and the estimating team. And
so like a director.
You're kind of like directing the whole thing to come together into a building at the end. So you have to work with all the designers to make sure that the design works, with the architect, because they're very artistic.
Yeah.
And then you have to bring in your structural, and the structural guy says, yeah, you can't put this here, it won't hold. There's no calculations or anything that's going to hold this arc in the top. So then the designer has to come and say, okay, I can live without the arc. I'm going to do it flat. So then, kind of work that together.
So are you playing mediator a lot, kind of between all these different roles?
Yes. Most of the time you are mediating between, also because of the owner, right? Because then the owner goes, well, but I did want the arc. Okay, well, let's see how we get half an arc. Would that work?
That would actually stay up.
Yes. So you work through all those things, and once you get your concept and your drawings together, then you go into the bid process, right? So then you give it to the estimators to find all these subcontractors to bid on the project and get your best and final price for constructing the design. Okay. Then you select them, then you go through all the construction and the contract management of it. So getting all the subcontractors under contract in order to.
So that's also on your plate?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So no big deal. You just kind of do it all.
Yeah. So then after you go through the contract, then you start all the construction and trying to get all the logistics into the field with your field personnel, your superintendents and everything, and get together into a room and say, okay, how are we going to do this, right? Where's our lay down area? Where are we going to put the material? Where are we going to put the crane? And then it all begins into all the wonderful stuff of playing with dirt.
That's so much. And I can tell that you have to be detail oriented for that job. Honestly, just out of curiosity, how do you keep up with it all? Do you do like an Excel spreadsheet to keep up? How?
Thank God there's nowadays programs for that.
Oh, okay.
But yes.
Stephanie, that makes sense.
But there is Excel spreadsheets. Like a lot of people still use Excel spreadsheets. Like depends on the size of the job, depends on what you're doing. And like most of the times you have good software to back it up. So now you have BIM that you could kind of like see it in 3D and 4D, and you could kind of like turn it around.
Carlos
and
loves that.
Take it up. Yes, I know.
Always shows me the BIMs.
Yes.
He's checking it every day on his phone. It's so cute.
Yes.
What does BIM stand for? Do you know? I was just curious.
Got me.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, not to put you on the spot.
You did.
Yeah.
And I'll remember later and be like, but nope, now you put me nervous.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. We'll cut that part out.
So yeah, then, okay. So then you go into constructions, and you go into permitting, because you can't do construction unless you permit it.
Right.
So you have to now deal with the entities, governmental entities, right? It's either Miami-Dade County or Broward County.
Is that your favorite part of the process?
Oh, love them.
How is dealing? The biggest thing in construction is time, right? Time is money.
Time is money.
Time is money. It's the most valuable commodity, but at the same time, it's something that's completely out of your control, right?
Yes.
In terms of like, I can see for the government and waiting for a permit to come in.
Yes.
How do you deal with that, with like the most critical thing being out of your control?
There's these wonderful people that already have all these connections, and they're called permit runners. Love them. Love them.
I didn't know there was actually a specific job for that.
Yes. So these are people that actually, most of them have actually worked in the permitting department.
Okay.
And then they see that, all these people are struggling because it takes forever. But they already know Juana, Pepita, and all the people that they need to go through. So, hey, why don't I help them? So then they become consultants, and then, you just pay them, and they literally, like, these people are amazing. I've gone with them to the county or a city, and they literally just walk there like if that's their house. Like,
they're superstars.
Oh, you have a problem with this permit? Let's go. Come on. And you just walk in.
Oh my God, I feel like those people hold all the power.
Yes.
Those must be pretty like valuable positions in construction.
And
I
they
can't believe I didn't know
literally
this.
wait on like outside the door of the head of the department.
That's
that
crazy.
You're like, oh, okay.
So that goes back into trust, right? To
Yes.
trust into your entire team that they'll be able to get their parts done.
Yes. Now, when you don't have one of those people, and then you have to make the calls and you have to rely on it and you have to be checking in the system and calling and doing all these ups and downs to get your permit. That's the fun part, especially when they miss something and they don't show it. And then at the end, when you're trying to get your TCO, oh, now you need your shoring. And I'm like, shoring? Shoring was done at the beginning of the project. Like,
what are you talking
we've been
about?
at it for 2 years. Like, the hotel's almost open.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, but you never submitted your shoring permit. And I said, well, it was never there.
Oh,
so
God.
then we had to pull the permit for the shoring. We had to call for inspection. The inspector came and he's like, oh, I came to see the shoring. And I'm like, there's no shoring. I could show you pictures of the shoring, but there's no shoring.
Oh my God.
And he's like, well, but here you called for a shoring. And I said, yeah, because you guys put it in the system way after. So
Wow.
here we are.
Yeah.
There's no shoring. So they have to pass it because at the end of the day, the structure's already there.
Yeah.
How are we going to show you a shoring? Do you want me to put it up now?
Yeah.
Take people out of their rooms and be like, excuse me, I have to put shoring up.
No, that would be crazy. Have you ever been in a situation where they've refused to grant a permit?
No. You always have to, you always work your way around.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have comments of reasons why they don't give you that permit, but eventually you kind of work it out with your designers or even with the same city. It's like, okay, well, this has to go. I mean, it's part of the whole project.
Right.
So it works out at the end.
I asked because, failure is a part of any job. So I'm just curious of kind of how you deal with those kind of moments and kind of how they pop up in your role.
I mean, the hardest part is trying to get to the right person to talk to, because obviously we go back, everything is communication. So, but who's that person and how do you get in front of that person to explain to him the reasoning behind? Because it's not just a drawing. And and maybe your comment is unclear of what you're looking for. So we need you to be more specific and explain to me your train of thought of why you're rejecting this, because we've answered or believed that we've answered all your questions. And here we are going back and forth with something that we're not getting through. So that's where you get your permit expediters or you actually call for a meeting and most of the times you get that meeting with that person and then they explain it to you.
It sounds like it requires a lot of patience to do your job.
Yes.
Obviously it sounds like people management and kind of managing personalities is a huge part of it, but what's another kind of tricky part of your job that maybe people wouldn't expect as a difficult part of project management?
I think with all this technology and ages, like the age gap, right? So now you have all this new people coming in, or youngsters.
Gen Z, baby.
Gen Z. So you have all these people coming in and it's like showing you all this new ways of doing stuff that my generation and older are not used to that. So it's kind of like getting with the crowd in that sense, right? Technology wise. So I think technology is playing a good big role. Like exactly for like BIM, for example. Like
right.
I could touch the BIM, I could manipulate the BIM, I could do a little bit here and there, but I could probably delete it and never came,
Oh wow! Don't tell Carlos that.
Yes, he'll probably be like, "Let me teach you."
Yeah.
So I think it's also a matter of, I haven't been exposed to that where I have to actually sit on it. So I have people, like you usually have a department, which by the way, they're very rare to find. There's not many BIM managers out there. Okay. So it's good to have those people that actually know how to use it and work it fine.
I was going to ask about that because obviously technology is insane and AI is becoming incredibly I don't know, talented. I don't know what the word is to use. And it's becoming a part of your job. I was going to ask you that, of how integrating that is becoming a bigger part of your profession, but it sounds like maybe that's kind of delegated to other people.
So yes, but still, construction AI will never be the one that's going to be putting your concrete or your block in. You'll always have the people part of it, and especially in this industry. So for AI, maybe a letter, or, kind of like now we go into these Teams meetings and it's like always being recorded. So you're always recorded.
Yeah.
You're always in camera, and everything is transcript and everything is already there. So kind of like it runs your meeting minutes and everything. So it maybe that could be used to your benefit, but at the same time, it could be used against you in the court of law.
I love that. Oh my God, sorry. I used to be a lawyer, right? Oh, okay. That was good.
I stalked you too.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good. Oh man, my LinkedIn is not up to date, but we can pretend. Tell me about some of the projects that have been like particularly fun for you and that you've really enjoyed throughout your career.
So, I mentioned the one in Fisher Island. Fisher Island was one of the ones. The other one, the Brightline station in Miami.
Oh, you worked on Brightline?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit more about that.
That was challenging because that's 5 blocks of construction. So
no biggie.
No. I was, at that time, I was an assistant project manager, and I was in charge of the envelope of the building. So,
sorry, dumb question. What's the envelope?
The outside.
Oh, okay.
So windows, doors.
Oh, okay.
So they gave me actually windows, doors, and interior doors, exterior doors, and I was. It was really cool watching how all that came together. Especially like if you've been in the.
I have.
Okay, so you see the skyline where you see that.
Yes.
That was a mission.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Trying to get all that glass together.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, and kind of making sure that it was properly sealed so you don't get any water.
Yeah.
There was a lot of rainy seasons, as we all know here in Miami, so it was very challenging putting that together. It was a very cool experience. Also, you had to like work very closely to the tracks and make sure that you're not stepping here and there, and kind of like having all these the timings of the metro mover moving around. So
I would have never thought about that.
It was, but it was a really cool project, and the people there were really cool. Like we worked very well together.
And do you walk the projects a lot as a PM, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So we try our best to be both, because you have to know what's going on, and you have to because you're the one that's writing the questions to the engineers, asking them, hey, this is not working here, kind of. So you got to go see what it is so that you understand what you're really asking. A lot of the meetings that we have, also we go on site so that everybody that's involved in that issue can actually see it, and then we could look at it and look at the possibilities of how we're going to solve it, right?
Right.
Is it something that we need to have the engineer come? And if we do, we actually also walk with the engineer. And it's also good that sometimes we do get the opportunity to have either the engineer come to the job site as part of their contract to be on site. So you have access to them
constantly. Because it's not the same.
No. And then you also have architects that also hold a desk at your trailer. Okay. So it's kind of cool, because then you're like, hey, I have this issue, and then they could walk with you to go see it, and then they could give you a sketch right there, and kind of like help you with the coordination of how to solve that problem faster, because time is money, right?
Right.
So it's easier than just sitting there sending out an email, sending out an RFI, and sending it to them for spending 5 days to figure it out and give you the answer. So you just wasted 5 days.
Right. And it sounds like that's also what you like about your job, kind of not just being stuck behind a computer, and the people part of it, and the being on your feet and everything like that, yes. Right?
And then every 2, 3, 4 years, I get to change jobs.
So, I was like, wait, what do you mean? Different
so
projects.
I go to a different project, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a different project. It's a different people. It's a different dynamic. It's like starting all over. So it's kind of like you never get bored.
Yeah.
You'll get bored by the 2 years or 3 years that you're in that project because you're with the same people. But then, it's kind of like a bittersweet because you're leaving your friends behind, your family behind, your new family. And now you have a brand new one coming in. And now it's like, oh God, now I have to start all over. Hi.
But it's
my
also
name
exciting.
Is Barbie.
Yeah. When I was a lawyer, I did white collar investigations. And one thing I liked, it was kind of similar, not that long necessarily, but you become kind of an expert in such a niche random thing. Like, with the Bright Line, it had all its different challenges that we were just talking about. That was kind of one of my favorite parts of my job when I was a lawyer. I feel like that's something that you really enjoy as well.
Yes. It's that one that I think that one made, because it actually was my first big project too.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So it was a major project. So it's kind of like you have this monster, and it's a transportation, and it's the Bright Line. It was the first fast train in Miami. So being part of that is really good. Like it makes you feel good and proud.
Yeah.
The other one that I would have to say is the Citizen M Miami World Center.
Okay.
So that hotel, I don't know if you've seen it. It's in front of the arena. It has the emojis outside.
Yes, of course I've seen that hotel.
You're welcome.
Yeah, amazing.
So those are like that particular project was very hard because that's another project that all the materials was coming from Europe, China, and it was right in the middle of smack COVID hit.
Oh, lovely. And all
so
the price
right when
inflation.
we were starting. At that time, I had my oldest was 2 years old.
Wow.
So imagine all this unknown of all these people coming in with, getting COVID and you didn't know. So then luckily I had a great team that, kind of supported the fact that I'm not going to go to the job site and be exposed so that I could expose my kid. Right. So then a lot of things had to change, and a lot of people had to move around their scope of work. Because I was actually, again, because I've always fallen into the concrete part of it.
Right.
And the windows. Like that's kind of like that's my envelope. See, you learned something.
Yeah.
And then in this job, I got the opportunity of working interiors because I had to give that away because that was right when COVID hit. So then we had to switch it around.
When you say this job, just so, what job?
The Citizen M Miami World Center.
Okay.
So I learned now to deal with the interior part of the work. So this job was particular because it's a modular units.
Okay.
So the rooms are really tiny, and they have this fancy shower that's kind of
nice.
like a glass enclosure.
Okay.
That comes from Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
And,
Fancy.
But you didn't get the Swiss to come over and explain to you how it's put together, because COVID didn't allow anybody to travel.
Oh, wow.
So we had to figure it out here.
So I'm sure that was fun.
Then figuring out that, we're missing pieces, because they would send us video and we're like, wait, we don't have that piece. Where's that piece? Oh, you didn't order that. So now we have to wait, 3 weeks for it to come from Switzerland so that we could put that and finish that shower.
Wow. And just constant problem solving on the spot.
Yes, as you go on. And that's how I see my life like that. Like I think I'm always PMing, because it's always coordination, right? So now it's not only the job site, it's a birthday party. It's how to get the kids from school, how to manage your family, your mom's birthday. So it's kind of like always I feel like my life became management and project management, family, work, and life.
No, I love that you say that, because I don't know with you, but when I would interview a lot of like law students to become lawyers, one of the things they'd ask me a lot was work-life balance. Like, how's your work-life balance and what do you do? And I'm like, that's on you. Like, your work-life balance is on you. It's on what you prioritize. It's how you manage your life. And being a woman and being a mom, I'm sure that's incredibly difficult, especially again in the male-dominated space. But you're kind of talking to how your teammates kind of stepped in for you when it was important, and how you've seen kind of a progression of change. And I'm kind of curious as to what that change has been throughout your career in terms of how women are accepted in the industry.
It's funny because it's still a little bit hard, right? And even I think us women actually are harder on ourselves and within
100%
with each other. So
100%.
you'll never walk to a woman, and this has amazed me always. It's rare to find somebody that walks to another woman and says, "Hey, how are you doing?" Or "What position are you? Are you a VP?" They usually go all the way down. They're like, "Oh, so are you an assistant?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a senior project manager."
Yep. They would always think I'm the court reporter anytime I show up for a deposition. They're like, "Oh, the court reporter, you sit there." I'm like, "No, I'm the lawyer."
Yeah.
But thanks.
and it still happens till this day. Like I was celebrating, my ex-boss just became a VP.
Nice.
And we were celebrating, and we walked into we met this guy randomly, and he was just talking to us, and he goes, "Oh, so you all three work for the same company?" And I'm like, "No, actually they work for whatever company. I work for another company."
Right.
And then he turns to her and goes, "So what are you, a PM?" And she's like, "Actually, no, we're celebrating that she's a VP.
Hell yeah.
And I'm a senior PM and she's a PM." And then he's like, "Oh, so I totally misplaced you." And I'm like, "Why?
Correct.
Why couldn't you say, do you own the company?"
Yep. Why is the assumption always less?
Yes. And it happens with us women too. Like we usually just go straight to, "Oh, okay, so you're just an assistant or something," nothing wrong with it, because, we've all been there.
No, of course not. Yeah.
But it's like, give me the title that I've earned and deserved.
Right. And so what advice do you have for women who are wanting to step into the career and maybe are a little scared? Like you said, there's no crying, right? And stuff like that. What advice would you have for them?
I think that, and I've always said this, the best ideas in the world come from fear. Like, you're always scared of something, and whatever makes you scared is what you have to jump into. And, if we're going to work with fear, let's do it. And don't be afraid, because it'll all work out. If it's meant to be, it'll all work out.
I believe that. And I mean, the cliches are true for a reason. We literally only have one shot at this life. So you can't let fear stop you.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing. Just maybe embarrassing yourself.
Yes.
And no one cares about you as much as you do.
Nope.
Ever.
Exactly.
That's my number one advice, is like, no one's thinking about you as much as you are.
Yes. You're always going to be your biggest critic, right?
Exactly.
You look at yourself in the mirror, and you're always going to look at things that nobody else sees or nobody else pays attention.
But you have to be your biggest supporter.
Yes.
That's how you move forward.
And there's always a group of people, because I have my group of people that, sometimes I feel like I can't do it, or I don't want to do it, or I just don't have the strength of keep fighting or whatever. And you always have those people that support you and tell you, wake up and, get up, smell the coffee, and you could do this.
And get you back up.
Yes.
Right. That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you.
Where can everybody find you?
Right now?
Yeah.
So I'm actually, I have my Instagram.
Yeah, what is it?
I have Barbie y sus loqueras.
Love it.
That's like my new trend now. I'm trying to see what comes out of that.
I love it.
So we'll see what happens.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, this was so fun. I loved having you.
Me too. Thanks.
Thanks.